What is up, you guys? Nina D and Hayden Hill here with Family First Life Limitless. I love that clapping. Awesome. We are so fired up for this today. We're honestly today just going to go through a little bit about our background, our history, our story with FFL. And honestly, this is the best business ever, and we just want to share it with the world. So we'll start with Hayden, basically. Go ahead and tell us a little bit of a background of how you got started with FFL, how long you've been here, and what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so I've been in the insurance industry for about 5 years or so now. For the first half of my career, I was with a captive agency. Basically, just only building a team here locally in Arizona. I couldn't hire out of the state of Arizona. I couldn't really sell out of the state, anything like that. And so, did that for a little bit. Learned a lot about the business. Built a team. Was a good producer. Learned the business, and ultimately after that, because of a few different factors, decided to just thought the insurance industry was kind of just not for me. Didn't really see how you could actually make money long term, and and have a stable income and career with within the insurance industry. So basically, I left, got into some other type of sales for about 1.5 years. Meanwhile, I watched a lot of people from my previous company have a lot of success here at FFL. And so basically started part-time, just kind of selling at nights on the weekends. And basically really quickly, I realized this was the place to be. Was able to, start working 1 or 2, nights or one or 2 weekends, 1 or 2 days on the weekends, and started making more money than my full-time job. And so after that, after watching Nina and some other people, basically I was like, all right, it's time to make the switch full time. And so I've been here for about 1 year now, about 6 months full time, and basically we're here now. So
Best business ever. So we worked together with our previous agency, and you were my manager, and you were making a ton of money.
Yeah.
You were one of the top producers, top agency managers. You were killing it, right?
Yeah, for where I was doing well. Nothing here like FFL and the levels and the standards here, but yeah, I was doing well. The only thing that was tough for me is my agents weren't doing really well. So the people that I hired and trained and everything like that, they were having a tough time, and so that was ultimately the one thing that I was just if I can't duplicate and I can't build an agency here, then I can hire the world, I can train the world, I can teach them how to do everything. But ultimately, if it's kind of just people are in and out, and not having success, then this isn't really going to be a long-term long-standing business for me.
100%. So when you had found out about FFL, obviously you didn't make the switch right away. So you were still with the other insurance company. Mm-hmm. You heard about FFL. You met with Grady, right?
Yep.
Okay. And what was the reason that you didn't switch at that moment that he showed you kind of the FFL opportunity?
Definitely thought it was too good to be true. Coming from 30, 40, 50% compensation, and not really having too much freedom to hire outside of the state, to sell outside of the state, couldn't sell virtually, anything like that. I was just there's no way. I'm at a 40% compensation here. There's no way these guys are getting paid 145%. There's no way that these leads are actually requesting coverage. I was always used to kind of, meeting with someone and, basically after a conversation, kind of springing on them at the end, hey, by the way, let's get you some life insurance. And so it was a tough sell. And honestly, I just thought it was way too good to be true. And I think a lot of people, if you're used to the same thing over and over again, and you haven't looked out there to see the industry, naturally, who could blame me?
Well, we were told all the time. You know how it was for us. We were told all the time, this is the best company ever. You can never go anywhere and do better than our agents or we do here. And I think we were honestly brainwashed, and we got told that repetitively, meeting after meeting after meeting, by these guys that have been there for 10, 15, 20 years,
Yeah.
And so we didn't think anything like this was real. And you hear all the, misconceptions about FFL, and we actually fell into that. So we actually stayed with the other company for another year after hearing about FFL. And honestly, for me, it just got to a point where I wasn't making any money. I was literally broke. I was going backwards income. I was spending, it was bad. So honestly, I came into FFL and I was like, dude, what do I have to lose? it's either going to work or it isn't. And if it doesn't, like I'll find something else I'll get out of the industry.
Yeah. I mean, the industry as a whole has been set up like this for so long. Like this isn't brand new that like you can go up to 140 or 145%. This has been going on for like years and years and years and years. The thing that Sean's done at FFL, which is why we're growing so fast and people are, making so much money and having so much success and helping so many clients, is he basically flipped the script. Like it's, like I said, 145%, 140%, that's nothing new to the business. What is new is that, back in the day, the producers would be at 30, 40, 50%, and the managers, the owners of the company would be at the 140%, and they'd be making, 70, 80, 90, 100 point spreads. They'll be making like more than double, sometimes almost triple what the agent makes. And, of course, who's to blame if, when Sean came in and disrupted the industry, we're the true industry disruptor, who, if you're making 100 and 120 points on an agent, why would you, tell people the FFL is great? You want to, make up things and tell them, oh, it's not as good as it seems. And we fell into that trap for a while. And thankfully we woke up and, saw the numbers and saw deposits that it was real.
100%. Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing. And it's so cool. What's really cool to me is that like you said, Sean and FFL, it's disrupted the whole entire insurance industry. Like so many agents are coming on board, of course, but like what I've noticed is that a lot of other companies are now bumping their comps up. And that's exactly what Sean wanted. He wants the agents to get paid. Right? So good for them. Like we have the highest comp and like FFL's the best, but now they're getting those higher comps, which is great. So Hayden, you just came off of a 70K production month in May. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So worked hard, obviously. The thing, guys, is like this wouldn't be possible if we didn't have unlimited leads. Like in my previous ventures, I was a top producer and I could do 20, 30, maybe 40K a month and like so could all the top people there. But only having like a finite amount of leads, like if you only have 100 leads for the month, it's going to be tough. If you only have to, can work family and friends, or you can only work referrals, it's going to be tough to consistently produce at a high volume. There's only so many family and friends and so many referrals that you can gather consistently and generate. And so, and that's why this is so duplicatable. Basically what I did is I just got to work. I bought, a bunch of leads, and, that way I was able to see people that were actually interested in requesting my help. And that's the main difference. When I'm talking to you and you requested life insurance and it's like a 30-minute to an hour long conversation from when we start talking until we fill out an application till you get approved on the spot, and then you're covered. So it's just so much easier and it's just so much more duplicatable than if I was to have to sit there and kind of twist your arm and it was an hour or 2 hour long thing. And then we got to wait a week or a month to see if you're approved. And so the leads that's the main thing about FFL. That's the game changer.
Don't you feel like you're in 100% control of your business as well? Like if you want to go out and write $100,000 in a month, you know that you just have to spend a little bit more money on leads, right?
Yeah.
And I remember like being given like, hey, can I get 50 leads this month? And like they used to have to give them to you, or they'd say, oh no, you're only going to get 10 new leads this month. Like, no, you are in full control of your business here. If you want to buy 1,000 leads a month, you totally can. We have the options for that. So
yeah, I think that the biggest thing for, someone that's new or maybe someone that's been in the industry for a while that's looking at FFL is if you have a low comp, the reason why is because, they're giving you leads. So if they're giving you leads, like they own you. You're not an entrepreneur, you're not independent, which you should be, being, all commission and being a, insurance broker, insurance agent. And so I think the thing to realize, guys, is like we have leads that go from like 50 cents, an increase in price from there. But like realistically, your 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 or 70% comp, like, dude, we're not, your boss isn't giving you $100 leads that are ready to buy on the spot. Like your boss is giving you the leads that we buy for like 50 cents or $1 or $5 or $10.
Facts.
So it's like, dude, if we can buy leads for $1 or $10, the ones that you're getting for your lower comp, you could just come here, buy the leads that are cheap and affordable, and you could like triple your income like right away, just because the compensation is going to be over 100% plus bonus and, you know, renewals day one and all that kind of stuff. And so that's the biggest thing, guys. Like, you got to realize like your comp isn't low for, you know, just because they want it to be low. It's because they're giving you leads, they own you. And so why not control your business and be able to buy 1 million leads if you want to at a discounted price, and then triple your compensation and make way more.
100%. So we talked about obviously leads at FFL. We talked about the comp at FFL. Talk a little bit about building an agency, because we hear a lot, oh my gosh, no, you can't really build an agency over there. That's a producer's company, which is 100% false. Hayden, our agency, we did 780,000 last month. And we really just started building, 6 months ago? So talk about building and, you know, how we're changing people's lives every single day that are coming into FFL.
Yeah, so the common misconception is, and I have people reach out to me all day from other companies, and like they ask me, hey, can I start my agents at a 60% comp or a 50% comp if I come to FFL? So, you know, I can start at 100, they can be at 50, and the answer is always no. Like the lowest we go is 90%, you know, and up. So the answer is no. And the reason why is because Sean created the company so agents can actually make money. If you're at a 50 or 60 or 70% comp, it's going to be tough to survive. And so the biggest misconception is like, you know, those people that are taking those big spreads at other companies, it's like a hamster wheel. It's just a revolving door over and over and over again. And that's not going to be, you know, long lasting, where it's like, it feels great to be able to hire agents and give them, you know, the highest compensation we can. They make a lot of money, and like we always say it, a little bit of a lot ends up being a lot, especially as, you know, talking about a business, you know, building a business and having it long standing. If you're, you know, stealing from your agents, you know, making double what they make off a policy, or the same thing when you're not doing anything, like sooner or later, they're either going to come to FFL or they're just going to wash out of the industry and quit because they can't make it. And so the overrides here, obviously it's, you know, that's going to be the same pretty much anywhere, but it's going to be a little bit of a lot instead of, you know, stealing from your agents. And then we can get into bonus and things like that as well.
Dude, I remember like hiring people before with a previous company, and it was like miserable. I used to not want to hire because I knew every single person that I hired wouldn't make money. And it sucked. Like, that was the worst feeling. So coming into FFL, I didn't even want to hire for the first couple months. I was like, I'm just going to sell. And then it gets to this point where you're making so much money selling, you're like, literally anyone can do this. So that's literally why we started hiring. And I mean, new agents, no experience, you know, people that were teachers, worked in a hospital, were Uber drivers, servers, whatever it is before, come into FFL and they could make 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand their first month. Like, we're changing the game because we just have such a plug and play system.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things about business, like real estate's all about timing, and real estate's all about location. Business is about timing, and so it's like here at FFL we're growing, but one of the main staples of a business to see if you can scale it and you can grow it is, especially in terms of a sales organization, is it duplicatable? So like anyone can come in here and get leads, and they can start and they can make their 100% plus compensation right off the get-go. And people are requesting it. So it's a very easy conversation, a very easy application, very easy sale. It's like very, very simple. We have great systems where if, you know, someone's coming into the industry and it's, you know, you have to be really good at sales and you have to be a, you know, smart, quick talker and fast on your feet and, you know, generate referrals and do your own marketing and all that kind of stuff. And on top of that, you're at a low compensation. It's not really duplicatable. And I think that's why we've had so much success with new people coming in, you know, making crazy amounts of money because they simply just plug into the system. They do what they're told. They dial the phone. Like, it's very, very simple.
It's not even a game of like, if you're good at sales, it's like, it's work ethic, discipline, and, you know, how many hours are you literally willing to put in on the phone?
It's almost like customer service,
exactly.
not really sales.
Exactly.
You know?
We say that all the time. It really is. It really is. So obviously leads, you know, high comp, you're able to build an agency. We have the FFL VP bonus. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's something that's pretty nuts. Before we go into that, let's talk, like, obviously FFL, like, we submit everything directly to the carrier. So if I write a policy with Americo today, or one of my agents writes a policy with Americo, it's getting directly submitted to the carrier. It's not going through FFL to collect client data and make their spreadsheets so they can recycle the leads and call the policy holders over and over and over again, and stop by and knock at their house and all this stuff, because that's just, it's not the way it should be.
It's awkward, right?
It is. And so we get day one investor renewals. And so I hear all the time from people that have been, in the industry, maybe with another company for like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. They got to wait 15 years or 10 years or 20 years to be vested, or if they ever leave, which in most cases, read the contracts, they will take them.
You know why they do that, though? They make them wait 10 years.
Because they know they won't make 10 years.
They literally know that 99% of the people that come in won't make it 10 years, so they take the renewals.
Yeah, so at FFL, it's day one vested, so you could be here for a week, or you could be here for 10 years or 5 years or whatever it is. The work that you do now, even if you decide that you don't want to be here 5 years from now, or you want to retire, or move to Mexico, or whatever the case may be, Americo and Hancock and Mutual of Omaha and all the big carriers we work with, they're still going to pay your renewals every single month when the client pays their policy. And so that's one of the big things.
So back up a little bit. You write a policy with John Hancock. FFL doesn't pay you. John Hancock pays you.
No, FFL doesn't pay us at all besides the bonuses. It's just directly through the carriers.
Okay, so John Hancock pays you direct to your bank account. And John Hancock's been around since before the light bulb came out. So we're working with A and A+ rated companies here. So like, they're not companies that no one's ever heard about. They are companies that are legit, that have been around forever, and that's huge.
Yeah, and I think if you're not in insurance yet, or you're just kind of looking at it, maybe you're in something else. The way I can kind of relay it that just came to my mind is like, think about, like, Nina, if you're a real estate agent and you sold me a house today. You get your commission, but everything goes through your brokerage. Well, if you don't own your business, just like in insurance, if you don't own your business, guess what? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, the agents, like real estate agents within your company, you're going to start calling me. Hey, Hayden, are you open to selling your house? Are you looking for a new one? Are you looking to maybe upgrade? Like, they're always going to be like pestering me. And so what I love here is, like, we don't have to deal with that. Like, when I help a family out with a retirement or life insurance or whatever the case may be, that policy is directly tied with me forever. That client's never going to be getting phone calls from other agents or anyone that's like recycling my policy holders.
Facts.
And so
You're their actual agent for life.
In terms of renewals, what that does is, like, if I'm the only one dealing with the client, they're going to be happy. If they need anything, they're going to come to me. My renewals, the persistency of the renewals are going to continue long-term or forever, versus if Nina has my policy holders and starts calling them and then goes in, sells them a new policy, or maybe talks down on the policy I sold them or whatever it is. And then, or maybe they just get frustrated because they're like, we have a new agent every, year, every 6 months, and they cancel. Well, maybe that doesn't hurt me because it's been after a year or something like that, but it hurts me for long-term renewals because now the policy's not active. And so that's something I love about FFL, just having everything direct, and us owning the business basically.
And we can actually see everything that pays out. That's the cool part. Like, I remember like in our previous venture, we used to read our advance reports, and they were literally like in a completely different, they were in like Roman numerals. Like, we literally could not understand a thing, where here it's like you see everything. I can see the policy that I wrote 9 months ago. It's on the books 10 months. And I could see that back end that's coming in. I could see my renewals coming in. Every single policy you could see.
Right.
Absolutely.
So let's transition and talk about the VP bonus. And so at FFL, to get to VP, it's pretty simple. It's not too difficult. You basically got to have $150,000 of issue paid business going through your team. So that could be, 10 agents doing $15,000 a month, or that could be 3 agents doing $50,000. It doesn't matter. So basically, once you get to $150,000, you start getting a non-chargebackable VP bonus every single month, directly from FFL. And so the cool thing about that is, most insurance companies do have manager bonuses. They do have, whatever level you get to, they start paying you bonuses on, the volume. But in like 99.999% of the time, that bonus is tied to like 3 or 4 or 5 different factors that are usually hard to explain. Like, it's basically like, if you do this volume and you have this many agents, divided by 27 times 3.14 squared, minus any business that fell off times 5.
And you have to grow times 10. Exactly. And it's so hard to track.
And Sean always says, like, dude, if it's too hard to explain in less than a minute, like it's like something fishy's probably going on. And
facts.
I think a lot of managers, like, they don't even know what bonus they're getting. They don't know how it's calculated. So what I love about FFL is the VP bonus is based on one factor. We don't care about new agents that come in and write their first policy. That's not being tracked for the bonus. We don't care about new growth month over month or from the last quarter.
Yearly.
We don't, like, there's nothing tied to it besides volume. So Nina, if you were someone from another agency that saw this and you were, you had a couple agents that you wanted to move over and you wanted, the best for them and to make more money, all that kind of stuff, and you came over here and you decided you wanted to build an agency to $500,000 a month. In most cases, if you never grew, which obviously we want you to grow,
right?
But if you never grew or you never hired new people, you never got new agents to submit and write their first piece of business, in most cases you would never get a bonus, even though you're doing $500,000 a month, which is a good amount of volume.
Right.
You would never see any sort of money from that bonus, which I love at FFL. It's just based on the volume.
It's based on volume, and you get it every single month.
Yeah.
And it's non-chargebackable.
So like if you wanted to build an agency to 500,000 and then, say in the next 2 months, let's say you got sick or you're on vacation or your spouse had a baby or whatever the case may be, and you didn't grow, quote unquote, you didn't have new agents writing business, you didn't, whatever the case may be, if you're doing 500,000 3 months in a row, you're gonna get the same exact bonus 3 months in a row because it's only based on production. And that's the biggest thing. I always thought to myself, like, why am I getting robbed a bonus even though we're doing this amount of volume or more every single month just because I didn't hire one more person than I should have that month based on, the company's requirements, or just because, Tom, who came in, wrote one policy and it was under, a certain amount, they're not going to count that towards my bonus quota. And so, yeah.
It's legit.
It's legit.
Absolutely. So Hayden, if someone wants to work with you or start with you with FFL, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can reach out to me on social media, Hayden Hill, on Instagram, Hayden X Hill, and then shoot me a text, shoot me a call. I have my phone all the time, so it's 480-747-5228.
You guys, FFL is literally going to be $1 billion company in the next year or two. It's going to be absolutely insane. We are going to the top. What's your goal for this year?
My goal for this year personally is to hit Hall of Fame, so 400,000, get that red jacket, and so
you're well on track, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely ahead. So I'm going to try to wrap that up by September, October, probably, No, October, November. So in the next few months, unless we go off the next couple of months. And then besides that, I want the agency doing at least $2 million a month by January 1st. And so I think we can do it. We're almost halfway there. We have great people, great new people coming in, and I think with FFL, with how many leads we can turn on at the drop of a hat and just keep on creating more and more and more, and the carriers we work with and the solutions we're able to offer clients, I think there's no way that, maybe 3 million by the end of the year, but definitely 2.
Always aim big. Yeah. For sure 3. So
what about you? What are your goals for the end of the year?
$3 million agency, 400K personal production. I want to go for Hall of Fame again. I mean, anyone can literally do it. It's 30 appointments a week, right?
Do you get another red jacket if you do it twice or just one?
Yeah. My goal is to get a Hall of Fame jacket for the agency. So that's 10 million a year team volume. And then 400K personal. So I should have three red jackets, which I'm fired up for. So awesome. If you guys want to start with FFL, feel free to reach out to myself or Hayden. Hayden's phone number again is 480-747-5228. Bye for now.